So let's talk about Africa. You know, that continent. It's not just big, it's massive. Really, really big. Think about this, it covers 20% of all the land on Earth. That's about 30.3 million square kilometers if you like numbers. It's the second largest continent we've got, folks. So, when you picture Africa, picture space. Lots of it. From deserts to rainforests, it's got a bit of everything. It's a place of incredible scale and diverse landscapes. A truly giant piece of our planet, that's for sure. Now let's talk about the people, because there are a lot of them. As of 2024, we're looking at over 1.5 billion people living there. That makes Africa the second most populous continent too. So, big land and big numbers of people. See a pattern? This isn't just a few folks scattered around, it's a major population hub. The continent is teeming with life, human life, everywhere you look. Imagine all those stories, all those lives unfolding across this vast land. It's a dynamic and growing population, making its mark on the world. Africa is truly buzzing with human energy and presence. Here's a really interesting fact for you. Africa is young. No, I mean really, really young. The youngest continent on average. The median age was around 19.7 years back in 2012. Think about that. Half the population was younger than a college student. This youthfulness is a defining feature of the continent. It means energy, it means potential, it means a different outlook. While other parts of the world are getting older, Africa is just getting started. This youthful spirit is something you can feel across many nations. It's a continent powered by the dreams and ambitions of its young people. And it's not just one giant country, remember. It's diverse. Africa is home to 54 fully recognized sovereign states. Yes, 54. Each one with its own unique identity, history, and culture. Plus, there are various islands and even a couple of de facto independent states. So it's a mosaic of nations, a complex tapestry of peoples. From the shores of the Mediterranean to the tip of southern Africa. Each nation contributes to the continent's rich and varied character. It's a continent of contrasts, from bustling cities to remote villages. Understanding Africa means understanding this incredible diversity within it. Okay, so we know Africa's population is big, but it's getting bigger, fast. The numbers are quite something, let me tell you. Projections show Africa's population could reach 2.5 billion by 2050, and by the year 2100, we could be looking at over 3.8 billion people. That's more than double its current size. Imagine that. Africa's share of the global population is also set to soar. From about 18% in 2021, it's heading towards 28% by 2050. This means more than a quarter of all people on Earth will be African. This boom is a huge story, one that will shape the century. Now, why is this happening? Let's look at fertility rates. These are the average number of children a woman has. Africa's average fertility rate was high, around 6.6 children in 1960. It has come down significantly to about 3.8 in 2024. That's progress. And it's expected to drop further to 2.6 by 2050. But even with this decline, the population base is large, so the numbers will keep growing for some time. It's not uniform either. Some countries have very high rates still. Others, like Cabo Verde or Tunisia, are below replacement levels. Certain countries are really at the forefront of this growth. 5 nations are projected to account for over half of global population growth by 2050. These are the Democratic Republic of Congo, Egypt, Ethiopia, Nigeria, and Tanzania. Think about the scale of change in these places alone. Nigeria is already Africa's most populous nation. It's set to grow even more. These countries will see huge demographic shifts in the coming decades. Their development paths will be critical for the entire continent. Managing this growth will be a key challenge and opportunity. The world will be watching how these nations adapt and thrive. Of course, a rapidly growing population brings challenges. We have to be real. More people mean more demand for resources. That's just maths. Things like food, clean water, housing, and healthcare. There's also increased pressure on the environment, potentially more pollution. If not managed well, it can lead to depletion of natural resources. This isn't unique to Africa. It's a global issue when populations grow fast. The key is sustainable development and smart planning for the future. Addressing these pressures proactively is incredibly important for everyone. It's about finding a balance between growth and sustainability. So, Africa has this incredibly young population. What does that mean for money? Well, it could mean something called a demographic dividend. This is a fancy term for when you have more working-age people. More people working than dependents, kids and elderly. By 2050, Africa's working age to dependent ratio is projected to be 1.7 to 1. That means nearly 2 working people for every 1 dependent person. This can be a massive boost for economic growth if handled right. Imagine all that potential labor, innovation, and consumption. It's like having a secret weapon for your economy. Let's look at the numbers of these potential workers. The working age population, say 20 to 64 years old, was 883 million in 2024. That's already a huge number of people ready to contribute. But by 2050, this group is projected to increase to 1.6 billion. 1.6 billion. That's a continental shift. This means Africa will hold almost 25% of the global working age population. 1 in every 4 working age people on the planet will be in Africa. This is a seismic shift in global labor dynamics, folks. The world's workforce is increasingly becoming African. But here's the catch. This dividend isn't automatic. It's not magic. You can't just have lots of young people and expect riches to appear. To unlock this potential, you need serious investment. Investment in high-quality education is absolutely critical. You need to create decent jobs for all these young people. And you need strong, stable institutions to manage it all. Policies should also focus on supporting families and health. This includes helping to continue the trend of reducing fertility rates. Improving the age structure further can catalyze economic growth. So yes, Africa is currently the least wealthy continent per person. And it's faced many historical challenges, we know that. Things like colonialism, corruption, and difficult geography have played a part. But this young, expanding population is a game changer. It makes Africa an incredibly important economic market for the future. Businesses are looking at this growth and seeing opportunities. The potential for innovation and entrepreneurship is immense. This youth wave, if nurtured, could truly transform Africa's economic story. It's a story of potential waiting to be fully realized. Africa isn't just about its people. It's also about what's under the ground. The continent is incredibly rich in natural resources. I mean, seriously loaded. Think of valuable minerals: diamonds, gold, cobalt, platinum, copper. Many of these are crucial for modern technology, like our phones and electric cars. Oil and natural gas reserves are also significant in several regions. These resources have the potential to bring great wealth. They represent a massive natural endowment for the continent. For centuries, these resources have been sought after by the world. The question has always been, who benefits from this wealth? And it's not just minerals and fossil fuels. Africa is bursting with life. The continent boasts incredible biodiversity. It's a nature lover's paradise. It has the largest number of megafauna species on Earth. We're talking elephants, lions, rhinos, giraffes, the big iconic animals, vast rainforests, sprawling savannas, unique ecosystems. These are not just beautiful, they are vital for the planet's health. Protecting this biodiversity is a global responsibility, not just Africa's. The natural world is one of Africa's greatest treasures. It offers opportunities for tourism and scientific discovery too. These resources should, in theory, translate to widespread prosperity. However, the economic story of Africa's resources is complex. Historically, much of this wealth has been extracted and benefited others. Colonial exploitation left deep scars and unequal economic structures. Even today, challenges remain in managing these resources effectively. Factors like governance, corruption, and global market dynamics play a role. Sometimes it's called the resource curse, riches that don't help the people. The goal is to turn these resources into real development for everyone. It's about ensuring that the wealth stays and builds up Africa. So while Africa has this immense natural wealth, it's also faced hurdles. Geography and climate present their own sets of challenges in some areas. The legacy of colonialism and neo-colonialism continues to cast a shadow. Internal conflicts and political instability have also hampered progress in places. It's important to acknowledge these realities when discussing Africa's potential. Tapping into the resource wealth requires good governance and fair deals. It needs transparency and accountability in how resources are managed. The future lies in using these riches to fuel sustainable and inclusive growth. Making sure Africa's wealth works for Africans is the ultimate aim. Section 5. Rewinding the Clock, a quick trip through African history. Now let's jump in our time machine. Destination Ancient Africa. Because Africa's history, it's long, like really, really long. It's widely accepted as the birthplace of humans. Yes, all of us. The Hominidae clade, our ancient ancestors, originated here. So, in a way, we all have African roots. Pretty cool, right? This makes Africa the starting point of the human story. Evidence of early human life is found all over the continent. From ancient tools to fossil remains, the clues are there. It's a history that stretches back millions of years. Over these millennia, amazing civilizations rose and fell. Think of ancient Egypt, with its pyramids and pharaohs. That was Africa. But there were many others too, like the Kingdom of Kerma in Nubia, or the land of Punt, famous for its trade with Egypt. Great empires like Mali, Songhai, and Asante flourished. These societies had complex trade networks, art, and governance. The Bantu expansion, a massive migration, shaped much of the continent. It spread languages and farming techniques across vast distances. Africa's pre-colonial history is rich and incredibly diverse. Then came a period that changed everything: European colonization. Starting mainly in the late 19th century, European powers scrambled for Africa. They carved up the continent, often with little regard for existing borders or peoples. This period brought immense disruption, exploitation, and conflict. Traditional systems of governance were overturned or undermined. Economies were restructured to serve colonial interests. The impact of this era is still felt today in many ways. It shaped the political boundaries and social fabric of modern African nations. Understanding this period is crucial to understanding contemporary Africa. The winds of change blew strongly after World War II. Across the continent, movements for independence gained momentum. Most of the present-day African states emerged during this decolonization period. It was a time of hope, struggle, and nation-building. In 1963, the Organization of African Unity, or OAU, was formed. This was a landmark step towards continental cooperation and solidarity. The OAU, the predecessor to today's African Union, played a key role. It supported liberation movements and aimed to promote unity. The journey from colonies to independent nations was a defining chapter. Section 6. A continent of 1,000 beats, Africa's cultural heart. If there's one word to describe African culture, it's diverse. Seriously, the sheer variety is mind-blowing. It's not one single thing. Think about art, from ancient rock paintings to contemporary masterpieces. Cuisine varies dramatically from north to south, east to west. Spicy stews, grilled meats, unique grains, flavorful sauces. Music and dance are the heartbeat of many communities. Incredible rhythms, soulful melodies, energetic movements that tell stories. Religions are varied too, with indigenous beliefs, Christianity, and Islam widely practiced. And the fashion, the vibrant textiles, intricate beadwork, and unique styles. A huge part of this cultural richness comes from oral tradition. For centuries, history, stories, and wisdom were passed down through speech. Storytellers, griots, and elders played a vital role in communities. They were the keepers of knowledge, the living libraries. This tradition is still alive and well in many parts of Africa. It emphasizes the power of the spoken word and communal memory. It's a different way of preserving the past than written texts alone. These oral histories offer invaluable insights into African perspectives. It's a heritage that continues to shape cultural expression today. It's impossible to list all the cultural contributions. But imagine this: the intricate sculptures of the Benin Kingdom, globally renowned; the rhythmic complexity of West African drumming, influencing music worldwide; the philosophical depth of ancient Egyptian thought; the vibrant Nollywood film industry in Nigeria, one of the largest in the world; the diverse musical genres, from Afrobeat to highlife to soukous. Each region, each ethnic group has its own unique cultural fingerprint. This makes Africa a constantly fascinating place to explore and learn about. It's a continent that truly engages all your senses. This cultural tapestry is not just a historical artifact, it's alive. It contributes massively to Africa's unique identity on the global stage. African music, fashion, and art are increasingly influential worldwide. Young Africans are blending traditional elements with modern trends. They are creating new forms of expression that are dynamic and exciting. This cultural vibrancy is a source of pride and resilience. It's a reminder of the continent's deep history and creative spirit. Africa's cultures are not just to be preserved, they are to be celebrated. They are a gift to the world, full of lessons and inspiration. Section 7. The climate question: Africa on the environmental frontline. Africa is facing some serious environmental challenges. Let's be clear. Desertification is a big one, especially in areas around the Sahara. Good land is turning into desert, making farming harder. Deforestation is another major concern as forests are cleared. This impacts biodiversity and contributes to climate change. Water scarcity is a growing problem in many regions. Pollution from cities and industries also affects water and air quality. These aren't small issues, they affect millions of lives, and they require urgent attention and sustainable solutions. Now add climate change to this mix. It's like a threat multiplier. The UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change has said it. Africa is identified as the continent most vulnerable to climate change. Even though Africa has contributed the least to global emissions. How fair is that? Extreme weather events like droughts and floods are becoming more common. This hits agriculture hard, which many people depend on for their livelihoods. Rising sea levels threaten coastal cities and communities. The impact of climate change is not abstract, it's a daily reality. It's a fight for survival in many parts of the continent, and these problems are expected to get worse, unfortunately. Especially if global action on climate change isn't strong enough. Population growth, which we talked about, can also add pressure. More people needing resources in an already stressed environment. It creates a complex web of challenges that need careful handling. The future of Africa's environment is a critical concern. It affects food security, health, and economic stability. This isn't just an African problem, it's a global one. The health of Africa's ecosystems matters to us all. So what's the way forward? It's about action. Conservation efforts are vital to protect biodiversity and natural habitats. Many African countries are working on reforestation and land restoration. Investing in renewable energy like solar and wind is key. Africa has huge potential for clean energy, which is great news. Sustainable agriculture practices can help farmers adapt to climate change. International cooperation and support are also essential. Developed nations need to deliver on their climate finance promises. It's about building resilience and forging a greener path for Africa. Section 8, Team Africa, the African Union, and the Unity Game. So, with 54 countries, how does Africa work together? Well, a big part of that is the African Union, or AU. You can think of it as a continental club for African nations. Its headquarters are in Addis Ababa, the capital of Ethiopia. The AU was officially launched in 2002, so it's relatively young, but it builds on a longer history of Pan-African cooperation. It's the main platform for countries to discuss common issues and to make collective decisions on the future of the continent. It's all about teamwork, trying to get everyone on the same page. The African Union has some pretty ambitious goals. It aims to promote peace and security across the continent. This is a huge task, given some of the conflicts that arise. It also works to encourage economic development and integration. Think of creating a single market, like the African Continental Free Trade Area. This could be a massive boost for trade within Africa. The AU also champions democracy, good governance, and human rights, and it seeks to give Africa a stronger, more unified voice on the world stage. Basically, it's working to build a more prosperous and peaceful Africa. The AU is the successor to an older organization. This was the Organization of African Unity, or OAU. The OAU was founded way back in 1963. Its main goals were to end colonialism and apartheid, and to promote unity among newly independent African states. The OAU achieved a lot, especially in the fight for liberation. But by the turn of the century, leaders felt a new approach was needed, one that focused more on economic integration and development. So, the AU was born, with a broader mandate for the 21st century. Of course, leading a continent of 54 diverse nations is not easy. The AU faces many challenges, as you can imagine. Ensuring all member states agree and implement decisions takes effort. Funding its programs and peacekeeping missions can be difficult, and tackling complex issues like conflict or disease outbreaks requires immense coordination. But there have been successes too, in mediating disputes and promoting common standards. The vision of a united and prosperous Africa drives its work. The AU represents Africa's collective aspiration for a brighter future. It's about African solutions for African problems, working together. Section 9, Looking Ahead, Africa's Century on the Horizon. So, as we look to the future, what's the big picture for Africa? Well, that population boom we discussed? It's a defining feature. By 2050, 1 in every 3 young people globally will be African. This demographic shift is reshaping not just Africa, but the world. The sheer number of young, energetic people is a powerful force. They are the innovators, the entrepreneurs, the leaders of tomorrow. This youthful dynamism is something the whole world needs to watch. Africa will be the youngest continent for decades to come. This demographic reality will drive much of its story. And with this youth comes immense economic potential. We've seen that. The growing working-age population could fuel significant economic growth if, and it's a big if, the right investments are made. Education, healthcare, and job creation are absolutely key. Africa's vast natural resources also remain a source of potential wealth. The challenge is to manage them sustainably and for the benefit of all. The rise of technology and innovation across the continent is also exciting. African startups are solving local problems and creating global solutions. There's a palpable sense of opportunity alongside the challenges. Now, it's not all smooth sailing. We know the hurdles. Environmental pressures, like climate change, are very real threats. Historical legacies of colonialism and conflict still cast long shadows. Governance and institutional strength vary across the continent. Addressing these issues requires sustained effort and commitment. But Africa has shown incredible resilience throughout its history. A spirit of determination and innovation is found everywhere. People are not just waiting for change, they are making it happen. This resilience is a powerful asset for the future. Ultimately, Africa's future will be shaped by Africans themselves. The continent is not a monolith. It's a vibrant collection of nations and peoples, each with its own path, its own dreams, its own solutions. The growing global significance of Africa is undeniable. Economically, culturally, and demographically, its influence is rising. The 21st century is increasingly being called Africa's century, and watching this continent rise, innovate, and lead will be fascinating. The potential is there, the energy is there, the future is loading. Africa's story is one of hope, dynamism, and incredible promise.